You just got handed a massive video file. Maybe it's raw footage from a 4K shoot or an hour-long webinar recording. You drop it into your editing software and suddenly your computer starts crawling. The timeline lags, every click takes a second to respond, and you're basically fighting with the machine instead of actually editing. That's because the file is simply too large for your system's memory to handle smoothly. Now, here's what you can do. Instead of forcing your editor and computer to wrestle with the full high-quality file right away, compress it first. Shrink it down to a lighter, more manageable version. In other words, create a proxy file to work with. Once compressed, the file becomes far easier to handle and you can do your rough cut without the constant lag. This is a feature that many video editing software have built in, but the process of creating them might be slower than with a dedicated tool. Also, in these editing software, you don't really have much freedom regarding the size and quality of these files. Now, with the UniConverter's compressor, however, you have full control over the compression process, and it's also super fast. Let's see how to compress large video files using the UniConverter. First of all, in case you don't have it yet, download the UniConverter from videoconverter.wondershare.com. The compressor tool will be within the video section of the tools. Now, it supports a batch workflow, so you can import all your video files at once. And now, the most important part, the compression settings. You have two ways to go about this. You can either use the basic compression mode or the AI compression mode. The difference between the two is the compression quality ratio. With the basic compression mode, it's more transparent how much you compress and how much quality you lose. Although I must highlight that the compressor tool works with minimum quality loss. So simply put, if I select a 50% compression rate, the size will be 50% of the original file. This clearly has a limit. In fact, it's 10%. You cannot go below that. You also have advanced settings for different attributes, but usually the only one you'd want to keep an eye on is the file format. Now, the problem here is that if you have a file that's 100 gigabytes, which might sound a lot, but it's very much possible with raw formats. Now, with a 10% compression, the file size will still be 10 gigabytes. That might be too large for your computer still. That's why I prefer the AI compression mode, where the compression ratio is much larger. For example, an 85% compression could result in 2-3% of the original file size, but without significant quality drop. This means that you can have a very smooth workflow with these files and you don't have to look at low-quality pixelated video while editing either. The downside of this method is that it won't show you an estimated output file size, and the only output format is MP4. So you can choose either of these methods with a compression rate. Again, I recommend the AI compression mode. You can even choose different methods and different ratios for each file on your list, or just select one ratio and one compression mode for all of your files. Then, after setting up your output folder, hit on Compress All to start the process. When the process is done, replace your original files with these ones in your editing software and start working. And here's the real win. Once you're happy with the rough cut, you can simply relink your timeline back to the original high-quality files. All your edits will stay the same, but now you're working with the best possible quality for your final export. So that's it. I hope this was helpful. If it was, be sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a thumbs up. I'm gonna thank you for watching and I'll catch you in the next video.